Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining our quick bite, the advantages of having a separate wet and dry mill with Ian O'Neill. If you have any questions during the presentation, please type them into the chat box and we will address them at the end. So now I'm going to turn it over to Ian.
Thank you, Katie. I appreciate the introduction. Hello again, everybody. Thanks for joining us again for a Zahn quick bite with the DGShape team. If you didn't join us last time, it was a couple of weeks ago, we covered the dry milling solutions. Today, we're going to be talking about some of the benefits of bundles with DGShape equipment, what kind of bundles we have to offer you, and then dig a little bit deeper into the 42W wet option that we have. So let's get started here. Today's topics, what we're going to be covering are the benefits of the wet and dry bundles, why it would make sense for you to have two separate mills rather than one single hybrid machine, what available bundles we have for you, DWX-42W updates, some new things we have going on there. I'm going to answer some frequently asked questions, some questions that we receive quite frequently from people who are interested in the equipment or people who are new to the machine. Kind of a way for us to reduce your learning curve if it's something you're interested in. We're going to cover the supplemental document for review. And we are going to touch really quickly on the extended warranty option that we have for all of our devices. Okay. Just want to get the supplementary document open for you. Okay, so we are ready to go. So what are the benefits of having a wet and dry separate system than a hybrid machine that's doing all of your production wet and dry inside of one machine itself? So number one is faster production times. So if you have a hybrid unit, it obviously has one spindle. Some of them out in the market have a changer system in it that can switch between wet and dry holders itself. But now with having two separate machines like the 42W and the DWX-42D or the 42 and the DCI, you have two spindles running simultaneously compared to having one hybrid machine that has one spindle running. So let's just say, for instance, we have 100 cases that we need to mill out. We have one hybrid mill or we have two separate mills. Which one is going to produce your work more quickly? In pretty much all cases, it's going to be those two machines running simultaneously. So the faster production isn't just for cutting of material itself. You have to think about the technicians. So you'll have two different technicians being able to nest, calculate, and set up jobs in the machine at the same exact time. You can also have two separate PCs where you'd be able to have people nesting and calculating simultaneously. So you're not having one person working one CAM software for one hybrid mill. You have two people doubling the production of that equipment itself. So there's a reduced learning curve as well. So anybody who's familiar with, let's say you have a 51 or a 52, you're looking at adding a 42W to the mix or an additional, let's say a DCI, there's an extremely reduced learning curve. So you're already familiar with the way these machines operate. In the V panel, which is essentially the brain of our milling equipment, you would be able to execute all the same procedures, calculations. Everything is very, very similar. We keep it very simple. So somebody who has a little bit of experience with one of our mills, like I said, maybe a 51, and now you add a 52, the operation of those units are pretty much exactly the same, other than some basic things inside of the machine, inside of the hardware itself. So there's a reduced learning curve there. Prevents work stoppage. So when you put all of your eggs into one basket, there are times when things go wrong. We know that, right? So if one of your machines goes down, or you have some sort of mechanical issue, maybe you're missing a burr and you can't run one machine, you have the other machine running. So you kind of create a sense of redundancy there and a safety net where you have two DCIs running side by side. One goes down, you can still run that other mill, maybe double your shifts. It's not convenient, not always the best thing to ask people to work late or a double shift to continue production, but you have the capability of continuing to produce your daily work. So there's going to be less cleaning and parts. In a hybrid unit, when you swap between various materials, let's say it's an Emax block and then you're switching back to a dry zirconia, there are cleaning procedures that need to be done inside of these machines. It's also going to reduce the amount of part swaps that you have to do. And what I mean by part swaps is typically when you change between different types of material or different solutions, you have to change a fixture inside of the machine. So it could be a titanium blank holder or an Emax block holder. So by keeping these two machines separate, you're doing less swapping, which means the machines have less downtime. Ultimately, going back to that first point, we're going to have faster production times. And last but not least is really the affordability. In almost all cases, we're able to provide you with a bundled solution that is more affordable than a hybrid unit on the market. So some great affordability there for you, the end user. So what types of bundles do we currently have available for you right now? We have a great promotion going on currently for Q1 this year. They are wet and dry bundles, which you'll see down here in the bottom left of the screen. That is a Q1 promotion here, this pricing. We also have what we like to call productivity packs. So a productivity pack is a larger bundle. So we have simple wet dry, DCI in a 42 or a 52 with a 42W. And then we have our productivity packs. The productivity packs, the number one productivity pack that we're looking at here is the Ultimate. That would provide you 2 DCIs at a great discount. The other Ultimate package that we have is the Ultimate Wet and Dry package, and that would be 2 DCIs and a 42W. Now to sweeten the pot a little bit more and make it more affordable for you, we also throw in things like additional sets of disc changers, material adapters rather, at no cost to you. So some great incentive there. And if you have any more questions about this, you can ask your Zahn rep for more information on these, and we'll be happy to work with you. So 42W updates. Now we're going to dig into our 42W. This is a kit that we launched last year. It's called the AK1 Kit for the 42W. We had people asking us all the time, the one thing that they felt like we were missing, when are you going to come out with titanium blank milling capability? So that time came this past summer. Unfortunately, we didn't have any shows or anything, so we didn't really get to show it off like we would have, in person. So what you would need for this kit is the AK1 primary set itself, which you see in the blue square to the left. It's going to have a tray to filter out titanium shavings. It's going to come with a set of titanium milling burrs. Something to keep in mind is if you already have a 42W, you will need a set of titanium burrs. It does not utilize the same tools that you would be cutting glass, ceramic, or PMMA block with. So you would need the titanium tools. It's going to come with a torque driver, a set of replacement filters, and a couple of other small accessories to help you have a cleaner workflow. The second piece that you would need to add is your fixture itself. So your attachment that goes inside of the machine, which would hold your prefab titanium blank, okay? So there's 3 options that we currently have. We have a Geomedi option, which you see up top. We have a Medentica and an NT trading fixture. So you would have to order, if you had a 42W or were looking to get a 42W, the AK1 primary set. That gives you all the accessories you need, and then you need your one fixture. So it would be up to you to figure out which one of these brands you're going to move forward with and place the order for that as well. So this is using the existing Millbox software. It is just an update to add the AK1 fixture or workflow to that software itself. Very simple to do, something that your Zahn tech support team could help you out with very easily. Oh, sorry about that. The second update is the new ZF2 filters. So the ZF2 filters are replacing our original filters that we were using inside of these machines. The great thing about this new filter option is once you make your initial purchase of the end caps and the filters, moving forward, you're only going to have to purchase the filters themselves. So what is everybody always asking about? What is the cost? So the great thing about this second generation filter, which is going to provide better filtering than the originals as well and better flow of water through your system itself, is once you purchase this kit the first time, your filter cost is reduced by about 28%, which means your ROI is going to go up overall. So you can see if you're familiar with the original filters, if you're a current 42W owner, those filters were very papery looking. These filters are going to look more of like a high-end filter that you would see in some sort of air conditioning system. So much better filtration, which is going to mean a better flow rate through the jets inside of the milling chamber, which is keeping your materials cool, keeping the work area clean, and your material and tool lubricated as you're milling out your restorations. So the ZF2 filters is something we're very excited about. Second, the next update on the 42W is the new ZGB275D tool. So we have our tool profiles. We have a 2.5, a 1 millimeter, a 0.5 millimeter, and then we had the 2.5 short, which does that roughing strategy to reduce your wear on your milling tools. And we realized in that range there was a gap that was being missed. There was a tool size that we were really missing out on, and to add that into the mix, the 75D was created. So what workflows are the 75D going to be utilized for? It is going to be utilized for glass ceramic milling or PMMA milling on preps, very small prepped crowns. So the internal cavity being very small. It's going to be able to reach inside of there and do some better detailed milling. It's going to be extremely handy for things like full contour bridges when you have interproximal areas that are really tight. Maybe that 25D was just too small to do that work and too sensitive, but that 1 millimeter was just too large to fit in that interproximal and mill out detail. This 75 is going to fit right in between there and be able to get inside and mill out as much detail as possible. It's also going to be really great for screw access holes. So if you're milling a screw retained crown out of an Emax or a temp out of PMMA, whatever it might be, the 75D is going to be utilized to take the wear off those smaller tools going inside of that screw channel. So again, if you have a 42 or you're looking into getting one, this tool will be implemented in the updated versions of software. If you have the software already, there's a good chance it's already in there. You would select the option of this tool. This is an optional tool. Once you go to your calculation, and if you're a Millbox user, you're familiar with that window that pops up, giving you options like 3+2 milling, 5 axis continuous. That's where this option to activate this tool would come in. So you would go ahead and choose that, and this tool is going to go into slot number 5 inside of the machine. Okay, if there's any additional questions on this, please feel free to ask when we go through to the questions portion. If somebody's saying they have no audio, I just want to check before I move on. Katie, are we good on your side as far as being able to hear? Hello?
Hey, Ian, sorry, yeah. I think we're all good.
We're good? Okay, I just wanted to make sure before I push on. All right, thank you. All right, so if you're thinking about a 42W, one of the most important pieces is your material selection. So a great thing about working with Zahn or the Henry Schein team is they actually have a catalog with a variety of materials inside of it. So that's their, it's called their CEREC Universal Guide for materials, and that's the link there on the bottom if you want to screenshot it. You know, I assume you probably wouldn't want to jot it down, but you can go to this online and it'll give you a whole wide variety of this universal material adapter mandrel and the materials that they have available for you. I will point out, obviously on the screen, you can see that there's a Katana zirconia block, awesome material, but we do not suggest using any dry zirconia inside of the mill itself, okay? So great resource guide if you're trying to find material that's gonna work for you. All right, so now some frequently asked questions we get about the 42W. Something that's very common, we hear from people who receive their machine, get it set up, maybe use it for a day and have their training. They become concerned that they're hearing a slight hissing noise coming from the mill itself, and they believe there's some sort of air leak inside of it. This is not the case. Obviously, we're introducing a level of humidity and moisture inside of an electrical device. Electronics and water typically don't mix well together. So the reason that you're hearing that hiss is inside of the back of the machine, there is a valve that does release air inside of the milling chamber. The reason we're doing that is we want to keep the air inside of the milling chamber moving for that moisture and humidity to not sit there. We want it to move outside of the machine. A complaint that we get is, hey, I really don't want to leave my compressor on, overnight. We shut it down when we leave for the day. What kind of options do I have here? If you're in a situation where you just don't want to leave your compressor on to reduce the humidity and moisture inside of your unit, what we would recommend you doing if you're powering down the compressor is, towel out the inside of your machine at the end of the day and leave that front door, if not all the way open, halfway open to allow air from the room to come in and that moisture to leave the machine. So that is why you hear that hiss inside of the machine. It's a very, very small hiss. It's not enough where it should hurt your compressor, but if you insist on shutting it off, we recommend you wipe it out at the end of the day, open that door up. What is the difference between ZGB and ZGB2 tools? So these are the milling burrs that cut glass, ceramic, or PMMA material inside of the 42W. Some of you may be familiar with the 4W machine. That machine used the ZGB tool. It is a coarser, heavier grit diamond coated tool. And when the 42W came out, we wanted to introduce a higher quality or a high definition milling burr option. That high quality milling burr option would be the ZGB2 tool. That is a smaller, finer grit milling burr. It is going, because it's a smaller, finer grit, it is going to make your milling time slightly longer, but you're going to get better surface quality. You're going to get better detail in your anatomy, and as well as milling detail in the cavity of the crown itself. So you're overall going to have better fits, and obviously we don't want chair side adjustments going on with glass ceramic restorations. Not ideal, in those kind of situations. We don't want to create any microfracturing chair side and put it in, and only to have a patient come back with, a fractured crown a couple of weeks later. So ZGB2, ZGB is the standard quality tool, that coarse grit. ZGB2 is the high quality tool. Now, when you're inside of Millbox software, you have an option, the fast milling option or the high quality milling option. If you're using the fast milling option, you must use ZGB tools. If you're using the high quality option, you must use ZGB tools. Using the ZGB2, that high quality tool with the fast milling option, is likely going to break your tool. So we don't want you to do that. We want to be upfront and make it very clear that you do not want to mix these tool types with the strategies. So make sure you're always using the appropriate tool with the appropriate strategy. CAM software and updating. So one of the great things about the 42W is the fact that it comes with the Millbox wet software. So when you make this purchase, like most CAM softwares, there is a yearly updating or licensing fee that might be charged. With this purchase, you are going to get 2 years of software updates, okay? At that 2-year mark, it does not turn off your software, nothing like that, but you would not get any additional updates to your software. So the software is included. It's an important point to make. What is chelating agent? And is it really necessary? So we've had people, we do provide a bottle of lubricant or the additive rather, and the chelating agent inside of the box with the mill when you receive it. Chelating agent was a smaller bottle, and typically once it ran out, on a couple of occasions we've seen people not reorder and just continue to mill. The chelating agent is very important for keeping the machine running and keeping it clean. The chelating agent, what it does is, as you're milling inside of the machine, the inside of the milling chamber is metal, and the liquid mixes with those fine ceramic particles and splatters inside of the machine. So what we would see if somebody didn't use it, it would almost look like the inside of the machine had a clear donut glaze inside of it. And over time, as you continue to mill, it kind of grows on itself and can cause issues with having your tools not moving in and out of the tool slots properly. So the chelating agent prevents those ceramic particles from bonding to the metal and sends them right down into the tank through the filtering system and back into the machine. So yes, it is very necessary to use that chelating agent. Okay, so we do have an extended warranty program, which is new as of this past summer. It is available for any type of mill that you might already have or that you're thinking about purchasing. It covers spindle repair, somebody coming out on site, parts, so everything you could possibly want. The price is the same regardless of the type of mill. So if you already have a, let's say a 52 or a 42, it's in your lab today and you're running off of that standard 2-year warranty that comes with the machine, as long as you're still covered under warranty, you can purchase an extended warranty. It is not necessary for you to purchase it upfront at the time that you purchase the mill, but you would want to purchase that extended option before your original factory warranty expires. You can purchase up to 3 years of extended warranty, which would give you 5 years of coverage. So if you have any questions on this, what exactly is covered or what isn't, you can absolutely ask at the end of this or ask one of your Zahn representatives. They can get in touch with me if they need more information, and I'll be happy to help. So there's one more thing that I wanted to share with you guys today that I feel is a very important piece of information if you have a 42 or you're thinking about getting a 42W. So this is called our supplemental document. This document is going to cover frequently asked questions, as well as maintenance schedules, where do tools belong, what tool slots should they be assigned to. So this is a great resource for you to use. Personally, what I like to do is print it out and have it, laminated or on a plastic file holder on the side of the mill itself. Find a way to attach it and keep it nearby. So anybody who's working with the mill can reference this. So this provides us some great detail. It's the tool slots and where tools belong exactly. So you know exactly where they should be. Maybe you have somebody new in the lab. It's their first time working with the machine. A tool expires, nobody's around for them to ask a question. They can go to this guide and find out exactly where that tool belongs. Our maintenance schedule, what our initial setup is, daily maintenance that's required, what should be redone weekly or monthly. So it breaks everything down very clearly. And we have mixture ratios for the coolant tank itself. In the 42W, the coolant tank is actually stored underneath and it is removable, so you can clean it. It does hold 5,000 milliliters. So if you needed to add 1,000 milliliters and not the whole tank, we provide the mixtures of the distilled water and the additives. If you needed a full tank, we have those ratios as well. So it's a very clear, clean-cut guideline for you to know exactly what you need to do. Some basic maintenance tips, things that we recommend you doing. And some frequently asked questions, some of which we've already discussed and covered today. So this is a great guide. This can you can download this off our website, DGShapeAmericas.com. You go to the 42W option, you'd go to support, and you would be able to download the supplemental document. Here at the end of this document, this is a live link. So if you wanted to see the unboxing of the 42, see how it's set up and what it really looks like, this is a great video to take a look at. So that pretty much covers everything I have as far as bundles and 42Ws for today. Again, thanks for joining us. And if anybody has any questions, you can go ahead and type them into the questions or the chat box, and I will be happy to answer them to the best of my ability. So we'll give a couple of minutes here for questions.
Thanks, Ian. Yeah, while we're waiting for any questions to queue up, we have a few minutes. Just wanted to let you all know that we do have another session coming up with Ian on March 10th, mill maintenance, what you need to know. So if that is something that you would like to join us for, we would be happy to have you hop on to that quick bite. It's going to be again at 11:30 a.m. Eastern. Okay, we have a question. Do you offer trade-ins, Ian?
Unfortunately, no. We extended a program back in the summer of 2019. We began the DWX50 trade-in program, and we ran it for about a year and a half, pretty successfully. Gave people a really great chance to upgrade their 50s to a new 52. That did expire at the end of 2020. So unfortunately, no, we do not have a trade-in program.
Okay.
Leroy says, nice bass. Thank you very much.
Right. I was trying to figure a way to throw that in there, complimenting you on the bass. No other questions right now. If you guys can think of any questions afterwards, please feel free to reach out to a Zahn representative. We'll get you the answers you need. We have another question real quick. How many units do you need to mill on a monthly basis for ROI?
That's a really good question, John. Something I should know offhand. I'll get your contact info from the team at Zahn, and I'll get you that answer today, and I'll get right back to you on that.
Perfect. Thank you, John. Thank you, Ian. And thank you all for joining us today on this quick bite. Have a wonderful afternoon.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great week.